Cool.
Okay, cool.
There we are. Cool.
So FaceTime. That's how you do this.
Yes, ma'am. So
Wow,
basically,
I could have had a podcast a long time ago, I guess. Wow.
I mean, I didn't think about this till quarantine, so better late than
Oh,
ever.
really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
Okay. So are we going already?
yeah, just about. That's my favorite way
Okay.
of starting
My
these
bad.
things. You know what I'm saying? No, don't even trip. You're good. So I don't have an introduction for this podcast. I'm very indecisive when it comes to that stuff still. But I do go by Tony Awdball. This is an odd conversation with a very special guest.
Hey, I'm your girl, Sammy Jo The Fox. Follow me at Sammy Jo The Fox.
Yeah, definitely. Shout out to the Homegirl Fox podcast for sure.
Yes, make sure you guys are also following me on podcast at the Homegirl Fox.
Exactly. That's like my new therapy every week
Good.
and such.
I'm glad to hear that, dude.
Oh, for sure. And I do remember meeting you years ago. It was like through the homegirl Danielle. What's it called? Yeah, like we ended up being on the Tits and Taco show back when you were doing that back in the day.
Yeah, I was just talking about that. I was saying I was doing a podcast with you, and I was like, oh my god, how funny, because like that was probably our first season, and that was like I think that was like 7 years ago.
Wow, no way, that's crazy.
Yeah, so yeah, dude, a lot has progressed since then.
For sure.
But thanks for coming on.
Oh no, for sure. No, undoubtedly, it was awesome. But I think when I first even heard about you was, I don't know if it was like some kind of contest or something. It was like for an opportunity to either meet or like work with JoJo back in the day.
Oh, okay. I think it was just an opportunity to meet her. It was like a little small listening party. That's what that was.
Ah, wow, okay. Yeah, I just remember Danielle posted something about it, and I was like, all right, sure, why not? And then that was around that same time when I first realized I want to do this whole like interview, like radio shit. And so I was like, all right, cool. And then when I seen that you were in the same field, I'm like, okay, let me see what's good from here. You know what I mean? And so,
for sure.
Yeah, man. So definitely look at the progress now. Shit.
Yeah, for sure. That's how it goes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look at JoJo now. I don't know if you follow JoJo.
I only follow her only through you. So like everything you post about her.
I get that a lot.
Yes.
But that's good though, because I mean, I don't know. For me, it's like watching her has helped me a lot. Maybe like the way maybe you watching me has helped you a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Or like I know even for Danielle, like Danielle tells me all the time, watching each other, supporting each other before the big blow up. That's always cool.
Mm-hmm.
And I really respect what you're doing because, for Tits and Tacos, that's what I really used to do, was find the artists that aren't big yet, but who are really good, talented, special, and just, if you have that vibe and you like them, get them on there.
Yeah, for sure. And then, honestly, you were killing it, though. Like, you had, like, good up-and-comers on the list and even had, like, real legends inside there, too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Shit.
Now, I've had some real gems come through Tits and Tacos. I think if Tits and Tacos would have been around quarantine time, it probably would have been bigger.
Yeah, probably.
Because, people were working and we were just a live show. But we definitely, that's something that's like my little baby that I'm like, it's full of gems. Like, it's my shelf full of gems, pearls.
Yeah, absolutely. So, let's go back to where all this started, because I don't think you have like an interview really going in depth with anything like this yet.
Not with myself. I've had them with Crystal.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I had one too with Angelique, but it was a podcast. It was a podcast about when I was coming from Street Scholars, so it was totally different.
Okay, so let's go prior, like Tits and Tacos days. Like, what kind of like got you into the whole interviewing thing, and like wanted to be on radio?
Well, I think it was manifested when I was younger, low key. I think it was manifested through my mom loving radio personalities and me. Like, that was our genuine time together, being in the car with her. And I just noticed the love she had for them. I threw parties in high school, so I knew a lot of people. I was popular for throwing parties and having people from, more schools than just ours. And I was always a people person. Like, I couldn't get from one side of the school to the next without talking to 5 million people. I knew I was social, anyways, to fast forward, I didn't even think I was going to do it. It was just something that played in my mind. I thought, one day, maybe I could be on the radio. And that was like always in my head. I was like, oh, I'm gonna learn how to DJ so I can like sneak my way into a radio station, and then they could see that I just need to talk.
Mm.
But things didn't go according to plan, and I didn't think I was gonna do shit, dude. I didn't think I was gonna do shit. I didn't think I was gonna live long, but I don't know. God spoke, and this guy Tattoo, who used to do Power 106 back in the day, he did Power 106 and he did K-Day. I don't know if you know Tattoo.
TATU, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
No, not T. It's TATTO.
Oh shit! You know what? No.
Yeah, and it's
Wow.
he goes by Tattoo the One. Yeah, he's the one who got I Slept with Shaq on his forehead, and then they put him on the radio.
Okay. Yeah, I've never heard of that. I'm definitely gonna check that out.
Yeah,
That's wild.
Before Louis G. There was Tattoo.
Okay. Wow.
And he's honestly, if you look him up, you check out like YouTubes of him. He's pretty historic. He's done a lot of things to get a lot of attention.
Mm-hmm.
He's come a long way. And he happened to find me on Twitter, and he reached out to me. He thought I was a DJ already because my bio at the time said aspiring DJ.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I was broke. I only had a little bit of DJ stuff, and he invited me to go and DJ, and I had to reply, and it wasn't him, it was his manager.
Mm-hmm.
And I replied back, and I said, hey, like, I'm not a DJ, but tell Tattoo I'm going to see him again someday. Like, I want him to know, like, you might not see me there now, like, I'm not a DJ yet, but one day I'm going to get in contact with you. It was just like I knew something. It was something weird. And then they reached out to me again, and they said, you know what, he just wants you to come hang out in the studio. That was it. It was like, why don't you come hang out in the studio? So I had two of my homegirls. We grabbed some tall cans, paper bags, got some weed. I knew he smoked, and I knew he was looking for a co-host at the time.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I was brought to his attention. I saw him when he followed me and everything. My uncle had wrote to him, was like, you need to get Sammy Jo. She rolls blunts and she's cool, blah, blah, blah. You know,
yeah.
And I was like, he followed me then, kept on following me, and then he reached out. So then I showed up. I showed up to the studio to hang out. I'm thinking we're just going to smoke. No big deal. I'll just be, just around. And nope. It wasn't even like that, dude. I showed up. We had this instant, like, vibe. And he was like, do you want to get on the mic? Do you want to get on the show? It's live. I've never touched a mic. I've never done any of this shit. And I was just like, let's go. Like, okay. So I just jumped on a mic, dude, and that was it. It was at B-Roll TV. B-Roll TV used to be a small little spot, nothing compared to where you went to. It was this little building. You could barely breathe. And they had already been in the making, B-Roll TV.
Wow.
They were doing that shit before. Like, a lot of this stuff is super popular now, but they've been doing it for years. So I jumped on, and he was like, what would you say if I asked you to come back every Sunday, every afternoon? And I was like, I'm here. Let's do it. Damn. So before my own show, that was the key show that I got on. And that was with Tattoo. And the DJ at the time was actually DJ Head, who's on 92.3 now.
Wow. Yeah, shout out DJ Head for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Shout out DJ Head. That's my brother.
Yeah, like, that's like one thing with Head, man. Head has always been like showing love regardless. Like, if you knew that you were talented and you had the skill to back it, he was always like showing love regardless. You know what I mean?
DJ Head is tough. Okay, he has tough love. I think if he gives it to you, I mean, he spits gems. He's all about like work, no sleep. You know, and everyone does their shit differently. I don't always agree with him when it comes to certain things, but look at where he's at and look where I'm at. Like, the things that I don't agree with, you know, are probably those things that are keeping me from certain things. I've been able to sit down with him, and he's been able to tell me how it goes, and I've been lucky to have him. I've been lucky to have him as a big brother, give me advice, and honestly, he fucking haunts my dreams sometimes.
Shit, what, a big ass head just like flying through the way?
Dude, like, I can't rest too much. I can't go long periods without not doing too much. Like, I have to start some type of something.
Yeah.
Because I get trapped, and it's like, I know I'm well aware that you just can build your own anything. Um, so if I don't do something for a minute, I think DJ head like literally pops up in my brain, and I see like big bro like he's gonna be talking shit to me if I don't get on this shit, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And that's like one thing I do like commend you for too is that throughout since the day I met you and like everything up till now, you've always had something running, regardless if it was like your own show, the Street Scholars to the Homegirl Fox, but even like your own like side shit as well too. You know what I'm saying? Like you've always
Yeah,
like been interacting with others, and you've always like
yeah,
kept some kind of balloon up in the air to make sure you're seen.
relevant.
Mm-hmm. And so
Yeah, it's a game of that, dude. It's a game of that. Whatever doesn't work out, you know, a lot of people when one thing doesn't work out, they just it they take it as the most epic fail of all time, you know.
uh-huh.
And that's not how. That's really not. I don't think that's how it works. Like I've gotten so used to failure that like it doesn't really bother me to fail anymore. Like it literally just feels like okay, well then what am I gonna do next?
Shit, I've been getting used to that since I was a kid, getting turned down by a girl all the time. It ain't shit to me
See,
now. You know
and
what
you
I'm
know
saying?
what? Believe it or not, shoot, your girl used to get turned down by boys all the time.
What the fuck?
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like it's like you go through different periods of your life being turned down for different things. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and I think I've been shut down. I've been shut down, rejected, neglected. Anything to do with like nope, all the no's. I've had all the no's, all the put downs. You know, but I'm. I don't know. I think they light me up sometimes. When you listen to the
Yeah,
greats, you'll hear the greats have failed. The greats weren't picked right away. The greats were told no. You know, Michael Jordan didn't make one of his teams. Like,
mm-hmm.
they've all been through it. So it's just up to you to decide your factors of, or what are you gonna just stop? You know?
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
I could just stop and work at Trader Joe's and be fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's interesting, man, because you know what, like I really believe like shit, like you always wonder like why things don't go your way like growing up, and then after a while you kind of just get used to it, and then eventually like you find your way through it. You know, like it's like a whole game of Tetris afterwards. You just find
Right.
you find where you
Right.
fit. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
whatever
And
doesn't work.
creating that next one is what will help you.
Mm-hmm.
Recreate once I build something else, I'm way over this shit. Where that's a past.
Mm-hmm.
That didn't work out. You know,
Yeah.
like I didn't make it on Power 106. That didn't work out. Okay, like I didn't make it in Arizona 98.3. Like I didn't make it. That's in the past. Like it doesn't matter anymore. As long as I'm doing something, I'm working towards something. And to be truthful, all I wanted really was to be myself. And creating my own platform is doing that for me.
Absolutely. I mean, did you ever go to
Here's
school
just like a
first?
bunch of little cats.
Just right now. I just thought it was like a door or something.
Yeah, there's like baby cats in here. My bad.
No, don't even trip. So I mean, like, did you ever go to school for any of this? Like to like learn like this craft?
No,
Shit.
no,
Okay.
I didn't. I wish I did. Like
Mm.
right after high school, I graduated in 2006, and you're good, bro. I graduated in 2006, and for me, I wanted to go be a street teamer right away. I was like, oh, as soon as I graduate, I can go be on the street team, Power 106, blah blah blah, and it just didn't work out for me, and I didn't have those cards dealt. Like I didn't have a car. I didn't have someone to get me to Burbank. It was like I couldn't do it. In reality, I really couldn't make it happen. Or maybe I just feared, because I probably could have, you know? I
Mm.
probably could have. There probably could have been a type of way to get there. But I had the excuses of, like, having to work a lot, having to make sure, like, my family's cool, and not having a car. It was, like, a big one,
Mm-hmm.
because I could barely get a ride to work.
Shit.
So I had to hold off on that. And I thought of broadcasting school, and I always looked it up, always looked into it. But it never came. I had to make money to help my family more than go jump into my dreams in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I used to help my family more. I think about them more than myself at one point. You know, you go through phases of that, too, where, like, what you're paying attention to is really taking all of you, and you're not following your shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I've also had to detach a lot from my family for those reasons as well.
Yeah, I mean it happens sometimes, especially when like people like feel they can depend on you to do anything, even if it means dropping whatever you have to do.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you
But
know,
that's not how chasing your dream goes. Chasing
exactly.
your dream is all like sacrifice. It sucks.
Yeah.
It's not ever like, oh, this is great.
Mm-hmm.
No, succeeding, creating your own, executing, all those things feel amazing. The adrenaline rush, the greatness of that, the growth. But there's a lot of the sacrificing that comes with it, and it's not always cool. Sometimes it's family, and sometimes it's your love life,
Mm-hmm.
or it's that job that you make perfect money at, but you're not happy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. I used to tell people like they always like told me like, oh, like do you want to be famous or like you want to be like a millionaire? I'm like, nah, not really. I mean, I just kind of just want to make a living off like something that I'm cool with. Like it's just happy money. It ain't. I'd rather make like less than 100K just doing what I want besides having the 100K and like hating every single day. So
For sure. That's
mm-hmm.
why that's what I'm saying. It's like it's real easy to say something, but like to live like that, like you're not really living if you're not living your purpose.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know this actor's name, but the Asian dude from The Hangover.
Okay, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Mr. Chow.
Mm-hmm.
He was a doctor.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I forgot about that.
He was a doctor, and he's just like, I don't. What did he become a doctor for? Like to turn around and like become such a like great comedian actor.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like that fulfilled his purpose rather than like what he really like went to school for and like put all that time and effort in.
Yeah, and that's why like I believe those that like go to school and like they don't know what they're doing. It's like it's fine maybe but you can also like don't hesitate to just to take a break and then just feel everything out to see how you feel about everything. And
yeah, I mean everyone should jump into different experiences for sure.
So that's why but he went to school, became a doctor, great. But he also had this passion of acting too, and just like went through and like tried it out.
Yeah.
And then see where it went. I mean.
Yeah, I'm very like I'm very cruel to my shit. Like
Mm-hmm.
I've said it so many times because I feel like too like, especially financially, like you get older and you want to be financially like legit.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to depend on nobody. You don't have to none of that shit. And that's like the only like downfall for me when it comes to certain things is that part of like I'm not there yet to make that those ends meet. You know what I mean? That little part. Oh, that's like the torn. Like you're torn between your dream and what you survive off of.
Yeah,
it's rough.
It definitely is, but it's like Evidence said in one of his songs where he's like, if man, I fucked up the lyric up already, but it's like basically saying, if
fuck up an Evidence lyric.
Shit, sometimes it happens. Sometimes it's because like you want to make sure you get it right, so that's why I'm just stating it right now. I fucked up, but where he goes,
no, it's all good. It's all good. I'm fucking with you.
No. It's like if it's easy, if it's worth it, it ain't easy because easy ain't usually
100.
worth it. You know what I'm saying? And
100. And I use like a really I use this thing from like when Kobe did the Muse. Did you watch the Muse documentary?
Yeah, no. I've been wanting to, but I've been like so occupied nowadays.
You need to watch that because it takes Mamba mentality to a whole different like level. Watching that made me realize that I wasn't crazy. That I wasn't like that. So there's sometimes like people say this a lot. They'll be like, I thought I was crazy, but no, this is like Kanye. People always go to that Kanye reference.
Yeah.
It's very similar because you do have to be some type of crazy to fulfill certain things.
Mm-hmm.
Just like you have to be a certain type of crazy to go on stage. You know what I mean? And perform. Like it's a certain type of crazy. And Kobe says, and I don't want to fuck it up either, but he does say, like, if he has to look at himself and say he failed, like, he'd rather die. And, like, as crazy as that sounds, especially now, I get that. Cause that's me too, dude. That's me too. Like literally, I mean, people could say I'm suicidal or whatever they could say, but it's one of those things that it's like it eats me up so much that like I can have this regular job and I can try and be happy for the rest of my life, but I know 1,000% inside I would rather die, because like I know what I want to do. Like I'm not even gonna try. So I would rather just try and fail 1,000,000 times than to like literally look at myself and say, you failed. You don't do, you know what I mean? Like it's literally like I'd rather not live that type of life.
Absolutely.
So when it comes to surviving and the torn part, I choose fucking chasing it. I choose life.
Mm-hmm.
You
Definitely.
know?
Yeah, this is why I always like I tell a couple people, I'm like, you know what, like I this girl Sammy Jo, she does her own podcast and she does interviews and everything as well, and you know what, and like yeah, I'm in contact with her, like I can hit her up and I know I can ask for like, hey, can you check this out for me, and which I've done before, but then it's also like it's also for myself, it's like the best friendliest competitor I have, you know what I mean, and it's like it ain't no context, but it's like okay,
no, that's smart. No, that's smart for you to think that way already.
Yeah, because it's
smart
like
for you to think that way already.
Yeah, because it's like for myself, it's like I want to get to where she's at, or I want to surpass her. Because when doors open up for myself, I'm be like reaching out like immediately. Hey, I have this opportunity. You know what I'm saying? And, like that's why it's just there's not many people that you can really do that with, and so that's one thing that like I've always like seen from the start.
There's a lot of gatekeepers, dude.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of gatekeepers, and a lot of people when the following goes up and people are on hype mode, I mean they shut an ear out or they shut eyes out at you, and honestly you just don't want to fuck with them anyway, so who cares?
Pretty much.
That's what I mean, your girls, I've been into the radio stuff, whatever, but like when I first started coming around like as a young buck, I was already talking all big. Like, I've seen CC, Mamacita back in the day, and Yesy back in the day, and just like I told Tattoo, you're going to see me. I told Charisma one day, I introduced myself to her, I saw her on stage, and I said, yo, Charisma, I said, you're going to see me again one day. Like, I did it to all of them. You're going to see me one day. Like, just that. Just to let them know. Yeah, like, they're pumping it up, they got you, like... Yeah, I'm gonna see you. They think cool, like this young girl like looks up to me, blah blah blah. I'm 32 years old now today, and like Charisma is the one who really like fucks with me. Yeah. And she's not even a radio personality. Well, she's getting into it now way more than ever, but she's not like official, just a personality.
Yeah, man.
Like you would think some of those women would have been like, oh, cool, she wants to do what I'm doing, like. I could help her, or I could, say something, or any of that. I've reached out to even, like, Ricky Martinez, and I'm a name dropper because I don't give a fuck.
Oh, but shit.
It is what it is. You got it on your interview, so good for you. But shit. The thing is that, like, we're supposed to, it would be better if we did help each other. Because either way, we're not in the same lane, dude.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So what is it gonna hurt that I give you a piece of advice? We're not in the same lane.
The way I look at it,
I'm running my own marathon.
Mm-hmm. Like that's the thing. It's like you have to be tunnel vision with this shit. I used to always look about like what's the next person doing. That was my biggest issue for like since I've known you. I've always been like, dang, like what's this person like? Like he's moving forward or she's moving forward all the time, and I'm still here. And then like it would be like my other shit I had going on too at the time. But it's like now, especially with this whole like quarantine shit going on, it's like there's no reason to look at anybody. You know what I mean? So the only thing you can do is just try to build your platform and see where it goes.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying?
That's it.
And
That's it. You know
it's because of you though.
There's
no
too
shit.
much comparison anyway on social media, so don't even make it harder on yourself through what you want to do.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, but because of your podcast that you just launched, that's one thing that kicked my ass into gear. Because I'm like, bro, like she just fucking started this shit up, and like, what's stopping you from doing the same shit? Although you fucking worked your ass off to fucking work your way up to these platforms such as like Spotify, Apple Music, because that ain't cheap. So you you reached out for your own sponsors.
I got really blessed that week, dude.
Mm-hmm.
I got really blessed that week because people were just hitting me really hard, and once they get to a certain number, they're just like those doors open, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But like shit, I got super lucky.
Yeah, definitely.
I got super lucky. That was built though, dude. That was built. Look at me. Like I told you from day one, like that day one that I told you with tattoo. Like I mean, I was like a broken young little girl. You know, and then, you know, even doing my own show, like all that effort that me and Crystal put in, all that money we put in, like all the bookings and like big people that we ended up getting, like that all took a lot to like not get a lot of attention, to not get a lot of love, like nothing. Yeah. But the effort it took to be like, boom, you've done B-roll TV for this long, you've had those guests, you know, the people who are paying attention, they know, and those are the ones who keep building with me.
Yeah.
You know, you've been spreading the word. You know what I mean? Like Danielle was my first like ride or die like a fan, but like supporter. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I think like, yeah, everyone just has their own. Everyone just has their own way of going about things. I just feel like if you work your ass off hard enough and you don't pay attention to the side traffic, you're gonna do what you're gonna do no matter what.
No, tremendously. You know, yeah, and shit, man. Honestly, like this is like a whole like Sammy Jo appreciation episode, but yeah, I really do want to try to give it back.
Hey, well, we should appreciate me. It's my goddamn birthday.
Exactly. See, I want to wait till the very end so the people that really listen to this shit can really like be like, wow, like she's that much. She's that giving that she'll give some of her birthday. You know what I'm saying?
Well, let me tell you something. The reason I even wanted to do your podcast is because I see you putting it together, and because I see you just doing it like this. You know what I mean? I know what it takes to get on a roll like that. I know what it's like to write that shit down on those boards.
Mm-hmm.
And this was me coming on your podcast to let you know, like, I see you, dude. I see you. I see what you're doing. I'm happy for you. I think what you're doing is amazing. It's what I did when I first started. So I just want to like wish you luck, and like I just hope your shit fucking flies off. I think you're doing a good job already.
Shit, thank you so much, man. I've been drinking, so don't be making me cry on my own podcast right now.
Yeah. I mean, bro, can you give me
shit? Wait, you're still sober on your fucking birthday? God damn it!
Look at we're just like having like a birthday party.
Jesus. Wait, hold up. Is that Crystal in the back?
What's up?
Is that DJ Crystal Iris?
What's up?
That Crystal Iris in the back?
Yeah.
Holy shit. Wow.
I got my own DJ now, you know?
I know, that's why, dude. Hey, legit, I live up to you guys, to your guys' lives, man. You guys always play the jams and shit.
Right when we get off this, bro, we going live.
Well, for sure. You already know I'm locked in. You know?
All right, good.
Jesus Christ, man. Yeah, but wow, you know, I can't give any more gratitude for that little speech you got. Jesus Christ, that's a big Hennessy bottle.
Right?
Uh-huh.
Pretty big.
Definitely.
We get into business. We don't play around here.
Shit, man. Well, yeah, I have some questions here that I still have and everything, but like let's revert back just a little bit. You know what I mean?
Sure, let's go.
I kind of want to see like not the rise and fall of TNT, but you know I kind of want to see like what kind of brought that together, and then from there leading into Street Scholars if you can.
Okay, yeah. So you know what? I went. You know the artist San Juan?
Yeah.
Okay, big LA artist. You guys don't know who she is. Look her up. If you guys don't know, like, when you guys see street art and you see like pretty girls with the big eyelashes, that's San Juan.
Mm-hmm.
She's an amazing artist, and she grew up in East LA, Montebello, like me. And I used to see her paintings everywhere. I loved her, and I saw her one day at Pride. I exchanged numbers with her, and then I started following her on social media. And she's like, you know, a big motivator, big pusher. Big everything. And a couple times we saw each other at different places, and we, you know, a hi, a link up, hi, whatever, took a picture. And then my friend started working for her. My friend Monique started working for her. She started doing clothes.
Mm-hmm.
And she invited me to her place where she lived. And she used to live in the water tower in LA. And the water tower is this fucking amazing. Have you ever been there?
No, I never. Like, it's weird because I grew up in the county a little bit, but I still feel like a tourist in LA itself.
No, there's a bunch of spots we don't really know.
True.
Like, unless you grew up in there. Anyway, she lived in this big old place, and it was, I mean, amazing. It was beautiful. Like, people were looking at me in the hallways like, what are you even doing here? Like, you don't belong here. But she invited me in. We talked. I started talking to her a lot, and then she was just like, who are you? Like, what do you do? Like, what do you want to do? You know, she started asking me these questions, and I told her, like, oh, you know, this is who I am, and this is like, what do you really want to do? And she's like, well, why aren't you doing it? And this and this and that. She kept, the questions were like very, you know, throwing me in the box.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? It was like, why aren't you doing it right now? Like, who's not letting you? Like, you're not letting you, you know? And I had a moment where it was just like, the people that you want to trade places with, you want to take their advice. You know, I'm sitting in this fucking amazing fucking view. I'm looking outside. I don't think I've ever, like, took a breath of that type of air before. The lights, the city, the windows, the fucking everything. I've never been in such a, like, a rich home.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I'm going to take advice from her. I'm going to listen to this girl. I don't care what the fuck she says. I'm going to listen. And she told me, like, why aren't you, you know, what happened to Be Real TV then? Because I told her I was on it. And I'm like, it's not there no more because Tattoo's doing something else and blah, blah. And she's like, well, don't you know somebody there? Do you know anybody else there? And I'm like, I know the engineer. And she's like, okay, well, call him and tell him that you need a meeting with him. And I'm like, right now? It's like 11 something at night. She's like, yeah, call him right now. I'm like, I'm not going to say no to this girl. So I'm like, fuck it. I call him up. And I'm like, hey, can you get me an interview with Be Real? And he's like, oh, yeah, let me see. Let me talk to him, blah, blah, blah. Then he texted me later, like the next day, and he said, you have a meeting on Friday.
Oh, wow.
But she was like, she told me before I left that house, she told me, when you get your meeting with Be Real, you're going to go in there and you're going to tell him what you're going to do. You're going to tell him the show. You're going to tell him what you're going to do on the show. You're going to have this already ready for him, but you're not going to ask him if you can do it. You're going to go in there and you're going to tell him that's what you're going to do. And I was like, fuck. If I want to trade places with this bitch, this is exactly what I have to do.
Yeah, exactly.
So I happened to run into Crystal Ellis that week at a gay club at the Abbey in WeHo randomly. And me and Crystal were already friends through years. I used to babysit her baby. And I used to promote with her baby's daddy, Sammy Sam. And we linked up. She was really drunk. I was buzzing it. And we were, like, going to the restroom. And we got in a conversation. And she was like, man, she starts telling me, like, the stress of being a DJ. Like, the stress of, like, continuing on as you get older. And it just, like, I was like, what the fuck? Like, that's so weird. Like, it just came to me that I was like, you know what? Like, I'm going to need a DJ. Like, I'm going to go to Be Real this Friday. I'm going to need a DJ. Like, this is the perfect opportunity. If she wants to try and do something else, maybe I can get her to do, like, half, you know? So I told her. I said, you know what? I want to start a show. I'm going to go talk to Be Real, blah, blah. And I think you should do it with me. And she was just down. She was like, I'm down. So we fucking just got together that week. We put a show together. And we told them what we were going to do. And that was it. It was done deal. That was it. I met Be Real. I took them a bunch of tacos. I took the whole studio tacos. And I was letting them know every Tuesday that we wanted to do this show. We called Tits and Tacos. And it was two girls that were raw and played music and did interviews and played videos. And he was like, done. So that's how we got onto Be Real TV.
Shit.
Just going in there and telling him.
Yeah, cause I remember when I first went to that same studio, I did not know what to expect. That was literally like when I just started ever like starting interviews. I think I did like one or maybe one interview before that, like my very first interview ever. And then I ended up doing that show. And like I did not know what to expect. You're the first person I seen, and you're just like on it. You're just like, okay, yeah, just come on in, just kick it right here. You know, there's bud right there if you want to smoke. There's fucking Hennessy. And I'm like, all right, you know, like, we'll see. I didn't do any of it, but I was like, shit, okay. My heart's all pumped because I'm like, dude, I never done this before. But to me, just starting out, I just felt, oh, wow, big moves already happening, just like instant. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And yeah,
Yeah.
man.
No, for sure. You know, a lot of people that things like that bring different feelings to people, whether it's nervous or whatever. But as long as you show up, like that's the important part.
No, yeah, tremendously. And
Yeah.
so,
So it was just one of those things that like I showed up to both. When I went to go meet Sand, I got dressed up to go meet Sand. Like I got dressed up to go meet her again. I didn't care. Like just being there, you know. So the same opportunity came up. I was like, I gotta be there, and I always pulled up, you know. So whatever. You know what? I didn't have a car for a long time. I didn't have a car till I was like 26.
Oh shit.
And I used to say, once I have so imagine that. So everything I was doing, like I had no car at this time, and that's also from helping my family. I used to like literally put that before like saving for my own damn self. So I told myself all the time though, because of the opportunities I missed being younger. Once I learned how this, you know, chasing your dreams work, I was like, as soon as I get my car, like I'm never gonna not show up to shit. Like I'm gonna always be there, because this is the reason why I could never get anywhere. So I'll just show up, you know. And then leaving Tits and Tacos, we did 5 years, and towards the end, I just felt like to me, like Crystal was too comfortable with what we were doing, and I wasn't comfortable anymore. I was uncomfortable, and I wanted to change it so bad that like I felt as if like my heart started like pulling back in it, like it's not all here because I want something else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And she said she felt that from me too. So it just made sense, and I was just like, you know what? I think we did 5 years was really good, but I do think it's time to do something else.
Yeah.
So I kind of called it on that one, and she just like she let me, you know, she let me make that call. But I miss it though, and like she was like the best co-host like for me to have. We just grew together, and that was an amazing friendship that we built through Tits and Tacos.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think at like face value, anyone can say the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, even if it's like one episode or they kept up with the series. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, for sure. Like, and honestly, sometimes I think like, sometimes I'm like, we shouldn't have done that. But at the same time, I've also grown a lot from it, you know. And I've taken everything with me. All those connections I've made there and whatnot, like they're still with me. And they're stronger than ever because, like I said, when you find artists and you believe in them first, they never forget that shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, artists can't wait to interview, dude. They can't wait to interview. Like me, I don't like interviews. I don't like to be interviewed. But I know, like, I know it helps. I know, like, you know, people want to get their stuff out there. They want people to get to know them, and that's what these are for. I'm not getting asked every day to do a fucking interview, so this is nice.
Yeah.
But you know, those artists are special because they see you like you just gave them a little bit of their pathway, you know. So
yeah,
I think it's cool what you do.
Definitely, and that's kind of, you know, I said this a couple times on interviews where it's like I kind of create this platform so people can have more of a source for other people to get to know them.
Insight, yeah.
Yeah, because you know they can listen to a song, but then they listen to an interview and they're like, oh, that ain't the same. Like when it came to Nipsey, I was a big Nipsey fan before I listened to his music because of his interviews. I listened to probably more interviews than I ever did his music for the longest.
Wow.
And then
that's interesting.
Yeah, and then you know obviously, but then you know when you match the beliefs and then to the music, you know everything just sinks in a lot better for myself. And so
for sure.
That's why
for sure.
Yeah, like Nipsey's death was probably one of the last celebrity deaths that made me just say like what the fuck, you know?
Yeah.
That really hit.
You'd say that too. But yeah, you know what? I do think I know what you're saying too, because I feel like people that didn't know Nipsey, once he got all those interviews went out, and I think everyone just got a grip on like, whoa, like this guy, who was this guy? Like,
yeah,
he was preaching some good shit. Oh, let me listen to his music. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
I had already been like writing with him since back in the day because I saw him somewhere. Like I saw him at a hookah lounge a long time ago. And when he walked in, we were like, man, who's this Snoop Dogg fool?
Yeah,
you know,
man.
like, who's this Snoop Dogg looking fool? And
Big
then
time.
he fucking started rapping, and I was like, damn, this was hard as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
So, I got to tell him that too. I was like, dude, I saw you at the hookah lounge. Like, that's when you weren't big. But
Yeah.
it's crazy how the world works, you know?
Big time.
I happened to end up at a fucking station to interview him.
Yeah, I remember that.
Twice. I was only there twice. Jermaine Dupri and Nipsey Hussle. And literally not, like, Jermaine Dupri loves me. And Nipsey was cool as fuck. But I'm sad because I told him too. I said, we chopped it up a little bit. I told him about the hookah bar thing, whatever. He said he liked my style. He said I was good. I told him it was my first time in the radio station. And then I'm like, okay, cool. Well, I'm like, I'll see you again. I know I'm going to see you again. He's like, for sure, you know?
Yeah.
But it was one of those, another one where I'm like, I'm going to see you again. So when summertime at LBC came up, you know, he was supposed to be there.
Yeah.
And he passed like a couple months before that, like 2 months before that. And I was like, that one hit me like ugly. Because I was like, that wasn't supposed to happen.
Definitely. Like, he was one of the main reasons why I was buying my ticket to go to see the festival. Because, like, like I said, I was a big Nipsey fan, man. Yeah, dude's crazy. So.
We need more Nipseys out there.
Shit. Man. Yeah, I could go on with Nipsey conversation, but this is your interview.
Okay.
I definitely want to respect that.
Okay.
So,
do you want me to tell you how I got into Street Scholars?
Yeah, you can tell us how you got into it, but I'm gonna let everybody else go to your podcast to talk about how you left.
What's up?
Like, we can talk about how you got into it, but I would like everybody to go into your podcast. I believe it's the first episode where you talked about how you left Street Scholars.
Yes.
So let's talk about the intro
how'd
for
you
that.
like that?
I loved it. That's what I'm saying. It's like hearing the very first episode, it really gave me like more insight about who you were, and it really felt like it wasn't just a show. It really felt like we were just kicking it in the room and we're just having a conversation. And that's why I try to make my interviews because I hate Q&As. I absolutely hate it. So when I do it, it's like it's giving me anxiety. But that's why I just like conversation. It just
I'm the
suits
same way,
better.
dude. I'm the same way. If you hear me and you've heard my my pitches and all that, like I always say, like I call myself the homegirl for the reason, like not because I'm a chola, not because I'm from a block or none of that. Like I call myself the homegirl because that's my interview pitch. Like I want you to feel like you're just sitting with your homegirl.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Like I don't. It's a character. And not everyone acts a certain way with whoever, especially an interviewer, a host. You know what I mean? They're so sick and tired of getting asked the same shit over and over. Like, they want to just be cool with someone.
Mm-hmm.
So I think if you're going that route, that's a good route. That's one of my routes.
Absolutely. And, I also believe that's like where the gems really fall out too. They're not like planning, okay, like when you ask this question, this is how I'm going to answer it. It's like just,
it's organic.
Yeah, just let everything fall through.
Yeah, for sure.
And so that's why, even you can see a huge difference from the very first interview I did with this whole quarantine with Chewy, and how nervous I was. You could totally tell on there. And then up to now.
I remember when I saw your first interview that you did.
Yeah.
I think I told you something about it.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. Like you didn't even you just did not hesitate, and that's what my favorite thing about it. It was like cool, like she really listening. She's really trying to like help out too.
I'm trying, dude. I don't have all the time in the world, but like when I genuinely see people try like me, I want to be able to be like, what can I do? Like, what can I say or anything?
Yep.
Anything, you know what I mean? Because like I said, some of those people that I looked up to, like, bro, nothing. Like nothing. Those are your heroes and like all these things. Nothing. Yeah. So you got to get it where you can, and I think like if I'm gonna spread my name and when I die, like I want people to remember shit, like cool shit, like oh yeah, she always like looked out, she always wrote back, she always like not oh she always ignored me, or you know what I mean. I'm just like I don't even know how we call certain people heroes and then they just ignore the world.
Pretty much, but your time is far beyond anytime soon for your passing.
Yeah, no, I think we're just getting started.
Exactly. Icon in the making right here. So, you
I
know.
appreciate those words.
So let's talk about the intro for the Street Scholars, and then just two more things, and then we're out of here.
Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, Street Scholars. I ended that with Street Scholars. We ended off on a bad tip. But it was mostly just me and the main host, which is Rocky.
Mm-hmm.
But now we're cool. We've settled our shit. We've talked it out. There might be an episode of that coming up. Not necessarily on my podcast, but there might be an episode talking about what happened. We'll see if that happens. But it is in the works of like talking about it.
Okay.
I left because everything I was doing, I probably should have done for myself before that.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I think everything happens for a reason. And honestly, Street Scholars was like gold for me. Oh, it was like finding gold. Because when I did Tits and Tacos, it's hard for two girls to get that type of love and attention.
Yeah.
It really is. Girls, it's hard. They don't want to give you nobody want to give you shit.
Like you only have like a certain demographic when it comes to like female faces to a show. You know what I'm saying? So that's why you have like a podcast like Horrible Decisions, which you talk about sex. Everyone's tuned in on that. So it's like, you know, that's like one of the very few routes that, you know, a lot of women will take to try to gain more exposure. You know what I'm saying?
For sure. Mm-hmm. And I'm just glad that I didn't have to reach too far. Like these boys get a lot of attention, and that's what it was. I saw it, but I also saw the connection that me and Rocky had talking. Our connection, it reminded me of me and Tattoo a little bit. And I was like, I like this because I'm a barbershop girl. I grew up in a barbershop, so like that type of regular talking to me is still very organic. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I loved Street Scholars. I loved what we were doing. We were helping a lot of people. We were telling people stories. We were making people feel relatable. We were helping people heal. We were helping people get things off their chest. People were holding a lot of shit in, and they'd write to us. And honestly, Street Scholars fulfilled a big part of my purpose, where I even started thinking, and I've said it before on Street Scholars, is that, like, it makes me feel like when I interview celebrities, like I'm almost dreading it now sometimes, because it's like it's so boring compared to the real life stories of our culture.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what I did a lot on Street Scholars.
Shit.
But I'm bringing it to my own podcast now. Like, I wanted a little bit of both lives. I wanted to get like half celebrities, half real, you know, real homies and this and that, but quarantine has sideswiped me, and now I'm just kind of like, I'm sticking to what I can do, but also what feels right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So all the episodes that have come out, I mean, I didn't expect them to be like this, but I think they end up working anyway. No,
absolutely. And so, you know, and that's like one thing I'm like grateful for too, is that you didn't have to put a stop to it at all. There was no.
Yeah.
You didn't have to put things on hold. You know, you still kept it up, and you did miss you did miss 1 week, but you did make up for it. Yeah, I remember that.
I was just like, let's go. Like, what can you do? Like, let's keep it moving. You know.
Exactly.
It's now that's like the Homegirl Fox. That's me. So I'm like, this is gonna go on. Anything else can stop.
Yeah.
But this can't.
Oh, hands down, big time.
Yeah. I'm having fun.
Definitely. And shit. So, you know, I know. Before we started this whole thing, you also talked about like, oh, let's not like bring like a top 3 conversation, which I totally respect and I understand too. So I'm just gonna tweak that for you, and I'm gonna say, you know, what kind of brought you into, you know, this hip hop like music? Like, what was like one of the first like hip hop like songs or artists to listen to, and compare it up to now?
Paperboy, Diddy.
Okay.
That song, it just, that everything I grew up seeing, like my mom, the way she dressed, 501s, clean white Nikes, like white shirt, like very plain, you know, Aquanet, red lipstick, Lokes, Ray-Bans. That whole look and my mom always bumping hip hop and freestyle, it just swarmed me. Like my mom didn't even when we got older, like we would try and put on like K-rock or something.
Mm-hmm.
My mom was like, no, we're not. No,
we ain't playing that white boy music
K-rock.
here.
My mom was my mom. I can't say like hip hop head because a lot of real hip hop heads would be like, oh, she listen to this, or she listen to Evidence. Like no. I mean, like,
she's
my
mom's
just always been a Power 106 fan, 92.3 The Beat. And most of the time spent with my mom has been in the car because she worked a lot. Mm-hmm. So anytime, like, we are actually together, it'd be, like, going somewhere or doing something, So, I think my mom has a big impact on me when it comes to hip-hop and radio stuff. And then once I started getting into it, I was a dancer young. Once I I was doing the Tootsie Roll and the butterfly, and that led to like me seeing people like pop locking and break dancing, and that was like it. Once it became like dancing and music, it was just a lot of hip hop for me.
Dang. Okay. And so. Yeah. What would you say your taste is right now then? Like for, at 32 years young.
I can't, it's since Tits and Tacos, this is real. And I've told myself this before too, like, what the fuck am I doing? I've fallen off so much on new artists. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I look at your stuff, or like I look like at Rosecrans, Vic, like he puts a lot of like new artists out there, but even some of that, like, that's my dog and all. And I respect him. I think he has good taste. But I think I'm just at a different place in my life where, like, that stuff isn't as appealing to me anymore. Mm-hmm. I'm becoming old, bro. I'm becoming old where, like, I'm listening to a lot of the same old school, old hip-hop, or I'm going back to old albums and, like, I couldn't afford that stuff growing up. So people be like, oh, Wu-Tang, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, I don't actually. I never say I'm a hip-hop head. Mm-hmm. I say I'm a student of hip-hop. Okay. There's always things to learn, and if you respect hip-hop that much, you ain't a fucking pro. Yeah. Unless you are. You know what I mean? But I'm not. I'll never say I am. Yeah. But I will say that sometimes I go back to old albums, and I just let them play out, because I never had that before. Mm-hmm. I didn't have, like, there's certain people like, oh, yeah, they heard, like, their big brother played the whole album, or they played this, and I didn't have that. And we didn't buy a lot of shit. My mom didn't let us buy a lot of things. So we grew up a lot on, radio music, radio hip-hop. I had to get into other things once I was, like, later into high school, because I had certain friends who were more deeper into that shit than others, Yeah. So right now, when it comes to music, I think I'm getting more into, like, R&B type of music, because I think it's so good right now. Like, I think the R&B artists are just popping up now. They're bringing back that flame, and I'm into it. But as for hip-hop, like, the new artists, I feel like, TDE just holds it down more than most, and, they take over. Like, very true. They take over when it comes to that, Because I like YG, but I'm not, like, I like Nipsey more than YG. And I think, like, YG always has, like, a banger here and there. Yeah. You know what I mean? But I'm never like, oh, yeah, the whole YG album. Yeah. One person that I do fuck with heavy, where I listen to the whole thing, and no matter what the fuck it is, it could suck. And, they never do. But Dom Kennedy is my man. Dom Kennedy I fuck with heavy. Isaiah Rashad, heavy. Big time. So Schoolboy Q still heavy. He's such a good performer. I think the new artists that are kind of hype are covering a lot of our really good rappers right now.
Hands down. And that, that's why, there's people like us out there that, like, whatever appeals to your ear, especially for the ones that follow your kind of sound anyway. Yes. They're going to be exposed to it too. Like TF the Third, I remember you had him on the show.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. I've had, yes. Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's I seen him.
I seen him. A lot of people, like, I trip out. I'm telling you, gems, dude. Because, like, even my Gator right now, Gator's on the show with Lil Dicky. Like, that's his best friend. Lil Dicky has a show right now called Dave. Yeah. I think they're going to win something for that. I don't know. I feel it inside. But, AD was on there. Yeah, I had AD. Gata's on there. He's like the most loved fucking character on that show now. Timothy De La Ghetto.
Yeah.
I've had a tweet from Next. We had, dude, this one guy. What's his name? Fuck. I can't even think of his name.
Shit.
Something Sexton. Austin Sexton. He was like on a billboard. Like, he has a blue check. He had a billboard in fucking New York. Like, it's crazy when I see those things. But those are the things, too, that keep me, like, really inspired for myself.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, boom, I did that. DJ Livia and her whole family, I interviewed them. You know, that's Kim Kardashian's fucking little DJ.
See, that's the thing. It's weird.
She's been on Ellen. She's been on Ellen, but I interviewed her first.
Yeah, it's weird how you kind of encounter all these things here, and like even from like my experiences with other artists, I see where they're at now, and it's kind of it's just weird how you see people like bounce from just like a simple encounter to now.
It's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
It's beautiful. It's not even weird. Just like, okay, you had this one guy on your show, and I can't remember his name, but I checked out one of your podcasts where he also plays a guitar. You just had him, like...
I think scenario, something like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I started following him, and I was like, dude, he's good.
Yeah, he's really good. Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, it's those little things that you gotta just fucking create your own, like, just like that.
Well, that's why I try to be diverse. You know, I don't want to try to keep one sound only. That's why I had a guitar player before, just simply with her and her band, and I had her on the show. You know, just gotta like their sound. So it's just a matter of just doing that.
I don't discriminate when it comes to sound. I think if you're talented, I want to get it out there.
Exactly, and so there needs to be more Foxes in the world. There need to be more Awdballs. We're gonna see where everything goes from here.
For sure. Definitely more Foxes and Awdballs.
For sure. You know it. And that's why I did tell you before any of the... Well, I think before I even did the interview with, like, this whole Odd Conversation thing where I remember telling her, like, hey, we're going to be working. Don't know when, but we're going to do it.
You did tell me, and I respect it because I know what that feels like, dude. I do know what that feels like.
Yep.
You know, I can't... For me, like I said, like, I can't, like, bring everybody with me all the time. Especially because, like, fuck, like, I'm not getting paid.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yet. But, you know, it's one of those things, like, just help with what you can, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
And there's someone who's going to do the same thing to you. You know?
And that's why it's part of the business. And
it is. And the work will speak for itself.
Yep. Not every opportunity has a paycheck with it.
No. Just show up anyway.
Exactly. So... Final question before we dip out of here. Damn, man, I don't want this to end, but, you know, you got a birthday to celebrate. So, you know, definitely got to do this. But, so aside from, you know, guests like Lucy and, like, having a cool-ass DJ like Crystal Iris and stuff, like, who are some, like, people that you're excited to interview or to bring into your podcast?
Oh, that I'm excited to bring in and do the podcast?
Yeah.
Well... I was going to have Bash on. I was going to have Baby Bash, and I was excited to have him on. I'm still going to figure that one out.
Dude, he had the wildest, like, groupie story I've heard.
He's so funny.
Yeah, it was hilarious.
He's a good guy. He's very funny, and I just think, like, people need to get to know him more, and I feel like me and him conversating would definitely, like, bring that out. Like, people would trip out. So Bash is one of them.
Definitely.
My homie High Tone, like, he's had a lot of interviews, but I feel like they're all the same. And I would like to dip into conversation with him about certain music that he makes. Things that are, when he goes into his dark mode, I would like to talk about that with him. I think that would help people out there and artists. Who else? I would really love to get JoJo on.
That would be awesome. That's something that I know. Like, I never listened to a JoJo song still. I've never... I don't know.
I mean, it's like, I don't think she's going to come on anytime soon, but I almost want to just spark the flame and have this, like, show where I tell you guys, like, word for word, everything, every little interaction that me and this girl have had. And I think people don't even realize. Like, I was literally telling my friend Crystal yesterday, I was telling her something, because my dumbass, I saw a picture of me and her, and I was so high. I don't know why. I was just like, I miss JoJo. Like if I like was spending time with her all the time or some shit.
Yeah.
But it almost makes you feel that way when you start to build like a certain type of relationship, and then someone just kind of cuts you out.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, there's certain things to know about that story, and I think that episode will be very interesting.
Absolutely. I was just gonna say you should just go mobile with it. Just be like, hey, I have this voice recorder.
I've hit her up. I even sent her my voice message thing. If she could leave me a voicemail. I've asked her for like a show. I've asked for certain things. I've gotten a lot from her, but when I do ask for certain things, like it's a no. It's a scene. It's a left on red.
Okay.
But you gotta. It's.
You have to face it.
I'm gonna keep trying though.
Yeah. Shit, man. Like there's this girl I've been chasing after years. I still ain't stopped.
You still, yeah. See.
I'm just kidding about that part. But but like there's things though. There's things that you just gotta just keep doing.
I'm not chasing her. I'm not chasing her to be with her.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Now I'm to the point where I'm just like, if you're gonna interview with all these people who just think you're popping now, like you should be interviewing with me because I knew you were popping this whole motherfucking time.
And then you already know enough what everybody else has already explained in their interviews.
Yeah.
Let's talk about other shit.
And I can tell you why I got into it and what it was before it looks the way it looks now.
Yeah.
And things just change when people blow up and things change and your chances are asked out. But I think we still have some memories to make, me and JoJo. So I wouldn't doubt that one day that I wouldn't be able to do it. I just think that I'm probably the most. You know what? No, I don't think. I know that I'm the most deserving of getting her on my show. Period.
Absolutely. Speaking to existence, girl.
That's right.
That's right. Shit, man. God damn, man. I do not want this to end, but you know what? It has to be that time. You know what I'm saying?
We gotta get to business.
Shit.
My birthday's about to end.
Shit. I'll make drives so you get some work done. We'll get some shit going.
But this was good though. I'll come back.
Hands down. Like this is something that I've been like really like, man. I hate saying manifesting because that's like so common nowadays. But this is like, it's just what it is. You know what I mean? Like
it's something you wanted.
Yeah, there's something I definitely wanted, and there's something that like, because even like the time I know you, we never got in depth like this ever. So this really just felt like a regular conversation. So.
For sure. When it comes to work, dude, I'm usually all ears. I'm always down.
Absolutely. So. Shit. Just like an intro, I don't have an outro either, but I do go by Tony Awdball. This is an odd conversation with a very special guest.
At Sammy Jo The Fox.
There we are. And you know what? Happy birthday.
Thank you.
No problem.
Make sure you guys are following my podcast at the Homegirl Fox. Go ahead and stream it. Do what you got to do. Download.
Mm-hmm.
We're on iTunes. We're on Anchor. We're on Spotify. We're doing big things. Make sure you check it out.
Exactly. The ad's like right here. Somewhere right there. All right. So you definitely just look right there. We'll be straight. Cool. But peace and love. I really appreciate this. This is awesome.
For sure, dude.
Thank you for having me. Hands down, one of my favorites for sure.
Mm-hmm. Oh, thank you, dude. I appreciate it. That was cool. That was fun.
Definitely, So I'll be tuning in every week. Let's do it. Live.
All right.
Peace.
Bye.
Mm-hmm.